If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I love gaming. It's something that I've always loved. So the fact that the Model 3 comes with games already installed is awesome for me. Now, there are currently only 12 games installed. However, Tesla are always adding new ones via software updates. Now, you might ask, but why would you need to game in your car? And it is a good question. Now, the games won't work while driving, which makes sense. However, when you're parked up, say at a public charging, or waiting to pick the kids up from school, or just want to kill some time, you can play the games then. Some of these games, you can control them using the touchscreen controls, while others you can use the steering wheel itself. But just be aware that if you do use the steering wheel, it does also physically move the car tyres too, which isn't something I want to do, and it probably isn't something I'd recommend either. So the 12 pre-installed games include Cuphead, Beach Buggy Racing 2, chess and various others. But what I actually wanted to do today was to show you how to use a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One controller with these games and just how easy it is to set it up. So here's my awesome berry blue PS4 controller, which is what I'm currently using in the car. So I just leave it in this little cubby. I mean, if I ever fancy playing a game when I'm sat somewhere waiting, I'll just plug it in. Now this is a version 2 controller, and from my testing so far, only the version 2 seems to work. So I've also tried it with the version 1 controller, which is a 20th anniversary PS4 controller, and although it lights up orange, it doesn't seem to connect at all. So my recommendation would be to stick with the version 2 controller, and they're the ones where the touchpad on the front of the controller has a light bar as well. So there are 2 USB ports in the Model 3. You can actually use 2 controllers at the same time as well. So if you've got 2 PS4 or 2 Xbox One controllers, you can just play 2-player. Now what you need to do is, using the standard USB cable that comes with your controller that you'd usually use to charge it, you need to plug one end into the controller and the other end into one of the available USB slots in the car. Once you're plugged in, there's no need to power on the controller at all, so as soon as you've plugged the USB cable in, the controller will just work, and it should light up orange or white depending on which controller you're using. Then on the touchscreen, if you just go to the entertainment and arcade, and then if you choose the game that you wish to play, you'll see it says play game. Now that option is sometimes greyed out if you don't have a controller plugged in. And the first game I want to show you today is Beach Buggy Racing 2. Now I've played this on the PS4. It was actually Beach Buggy Racing 1 that I played, and I absolutely love it. So if you've not played it already and you've got a PS4, definitely download it. It's quite a cheap arcade game that's on there, and it is a lot of fun. So this version of Beach Buggy Racing is tweaked slightly just for Tesla. So as you can see, the car that's on the screen is the car that you're driving. So it's a white Model 3. It's got some branding on there as well. It's got the charge port. And what it's got as well is, actually when you're playing the game, the sounds of the cars aren't like the typical Beach Buggy Racing cars, and they actually sound electric instead. So as I said before, you can use the touchscreen controls or the steering wheel to control this game, but straight away, as you can see, using a PlayStation 4 controller, it just feels like you're literally playing a PS4. So I'm not sure if you're going to hear that, but the sound of the car, it sounds electric. So if you've driven in a Tesla before, you'll know the sound that I'm talking about. So there are 19 different racetracks, there are 45 different power-ups to collect, and then across the race as well you can get up to 3 stars depending on whether you come first, second or third. And the fact as well is that these games are totally free, so we don't pay for them. Every software update that comes out, there's a good chance that another free game will be made available. So I'm not sure if there are any games, if you're a Model 3 owner, if there are any games that you're expecting or hoping to come out in the next update. If you have got any ideas, maybe drop them in the comments below. And as for battery drain, to be honest, I've not played it enough to see how much battery it uses while you're sat playing these games, but I can't imagine it being any worse than having your heaters on in the car when it's cold. So I wouldn't have thought you'd be sat there for hours and hours on end playing these games, but if you were, I mean, you may lose 5 or 10%, but I just can't see it myself. So the next game I want to show you is Cuphead, the 1930s cartoon-inspired game. Now, I've never actually played this game before. I know it was originally released on the Xbox One a couple of years ago, but as I primarily play the PS4, I've missed this release completely. And for those of you who have already played this game, don't judge me. As I say, I've literally never played this game before. And here we go. So I guess I need to talk to this guy. Ah, okay, great, a tutorial. Yep, we could definitely do with one of these. Let's see how we do. Right, okay, so I am ready to get out of here. Do I speak to you again? Nope. Ah, okay, I think that's enough of that for now. So I hope this has been useful for those who've got Model 3 and wanted to know which controllers will work on the car, and for those who don't have a Model 3 and see just how much fun playing these games are in the car. I mean, I'm hoping for some more games in the future to be provided via the software updates. What would I like to see? Something arcade-like, so maybe Overcooked, Overcooked 2, something like Max Brotherhood, maybe. But as I say, it's a lot of fun. It's free, and it kills time as well. So when you sat there charging and so on, you can play some games. As always, if you've got any questions at all, feel free to drop them below. Follow me on Instagram as well, so I post regularly over there, whether it be related to gaming or this car. So please, any questions you've got, drop them below. I do try and respond to every single comment that I get as well. So drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.